Yeah, I'm keeping the line open. Yeah.
So where is the mixer problem?
2D mix.
No,
Next to
the
screen.
camera.
3D.
Is a
20-30 minutes.
okay,
Yeah.
Okay.
Webcam is detected. Audio.
Yes, Prabhu. So
Microphone.
this is the webcam. Focus on.
Can you speak little louder? I think your voice is not.
No, as if it goes to yellow, I think we are fine. That's
It's
one.
going- Yeah. Right.
Okay.
Do a quick recap.
Start from the beginning.
No quick, just do it the way you
From
want
the
to do
beginning?
it because you want to.
Yeah.
You want our Prabhu to.
Okay.
Krishna Prabhu will hear the whole thing.
Okay.
No, he will say you did it very quickly. So you don't want to- just do it what the way.
So I'm starting at
It's just 15 minutes, so you'll land, we'll end at 10:45.
shift F5.
You're good.
Yes, Prabhu.
Can you shift to camera? You have to do that.
Why? Why?
How do we record this?
You don't want
shifting.
this? I'll shift to this?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll shift to that.
No, but Prabhu wants to see you.
See you also,
he
right?
wants to see us.
That's
Yeah.
right.
What was it? Did he say? He said.
He
See,
said not. He wants to see the speakers.
So
Not
then
the slides.
presentation.
Speaker as well as slides, I think, no?
Slides, he said.
When
first
you
we
are
were not doing like that sharing. We were recording through the camera, so we said it's okay. Then we discussed that slides we can send.
Okay.
But the main thing is
Sure.
the speaker has to be.
Okay. Focus
main
on
thing
what
is speaker. He said.
So I'm starting at 10:02, Prabhuji. I have the time here.
Yeah, 10:45. 10:50.
focus camera.
I think so, Prabhu.
Can you see? Check. Oh, yeah, so
Yeah,
good.
I got it.
Sorry.
Today we'll actually speak. Thanks for giving me an opportunity to speak from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 9, verses 1 to 3. So the title of the chapter is Answers by Citing the Lord's Version, and the theme that is being discussed in these three verses are the misconception of the soul with the material body, and how how one can regain its our constitutional position. Although we fall down, and because of the association with the illusory energy, how we can get out of it, and what is the process of attaining that constitutional position. So the reason I put this photo is I didn't actually speak this in the first. So the reason I put this photo is so our state is like that of Gajendra. Like we are, so initially Gajendra is very proud that he's the master of the entire forest and he's roaming around, like falling the trees and all those. And then when he comes into the lake and when the crocodile catches the leg, it then realizes like it is suffering. And then they both of them fight for 1,000 years, and at the end he realizes that without one's endeavor he cannot attain anything, and at that time he just surrenders to the Supreme Lord, and immediately the Lord actually comes over. And Lakshmi Devi, I remember in one lecture or I read it somewhere where both Vishnu and Lakshmi, they are actually sitting and discussing something, but as soon as Gajendra calls out for the Lord, he rushes immediately, and then Lakshmi Devi is curious, like, why you are actually running so fast? What is that so important? Then Vishnu says that, no, my very intimate devotee is actually stuck in trouble. I have to go and help him. So the lesson that we can learn is if we are sincere and if we tolerate whatever is going through our life, that's another verse in Brahma Vimohana Lila, Tatteno Kampam Susamikshamano. I remember that verse every time I have some difficulty in my life. So this is 4 years back. I asked Radhakrishna Prabhu in Vedanand Prabhu's house that it was taking for me some time to get married, and I was wanted a devotee girl, and like that I was very anxious, and I didn't want to disobey my parents also. That is the verse that he told me, and that is stuck in my heart actually, and I will never forget that for the rest of my life. And Gajendra Moksham is another very, very intimate chapter where whenever I actually recite or read, I feel very emotional when I read Gajendra Moksham. So that's the reason I put this photo here. So it's mainly for me to realize what my position is, and if we are sincere, then the Lord is definitely going to help us. So today's class is mainly based on the teachings of Prabhupada, who is the founder Acharya of International Society of Krishna Consciousness. So before starting the class, I'll seek the blessings of all the gurus, the Gauranga, all the Vaishnavas present here and who are attending online and who will be seeing this class in the future. So let's recite the verses of Srimad Bhagavatam together before starting today's class. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamire Nashtastam Prangvata Swargata Krishna Punya Shravanatirtana Hridayantastoya Bhadrani Vignoti Sudhitsanam Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhavatir Bhavati Naishiki Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Prajadine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. So a quick recap of what we discussed in the past few classes. So Maharaj Parikshit, he is basically glorifying the act of hearing and reciting Srimad Bhagavatam. Hearing Srimad Bhagavatam causes the manifestation of Lord Hari in the heart. And the Lord enters into the heart of the devotee when he is hearing Srimad Bhagavatam and cleanses the dust of the materialistic association. And also Maharaj Parikshit, in the last chapter, he asks a number of important questions, and that's how the entire Srimad Bhagavatam proceeds. Maharaj Parikshit, he starts with these questions, and then Sukadeva Goswami answers, and then Maharaj Parikshit asks few more questions. Sukadeva Goswami explains the activities, pastimes of the Lord, and that's how the entire Srimad Bhagavatam proceeds. So some of the questions that he asks are how the soul acquires this body, this material body, and differences between Brahma's body and that of the Lord's, and what are the difference between the Lord's body and that of the Jiva's body, and features of the Paramatma. And he also asks about the science of the universal creation and annihilation, planetary systems, how they are placed in this world, and Varnashrama Dharma, purpose of the activities of the incarnations, and about the pure devotees, who are the pure devotees, how one qualifies to be a pure devotee, and he also asks about the process of yoga and so on. So from these questions, we can actually see the probing mind of Maharaj Parikshit. He is very, very inquisitive about hearing the activities and the pastimes of Krishna. And this section reveals the glorious nature of spiritually inquisitive mind. So if we are also inquisitive like Maharaj Parikshit, then when we are reading Srimad Bhagavatam, we should also get questions like this. Like, we should be enthusiastic to read the next verses, next chapter, and then not thinking that when I'm done with the Srimad Bhagavatam, oh, it's done, just keep it aside. Not like that. We should also feel that enthusiasm when reading. And he also wants to hear from disciplic succession. And Maharaj Parikshit finally concludes about the glorification by glorifying Sukadeva Goswami. And then finally Sudha Goswami describes that Sukadeva Goswami is getting ready, and he becomes very, very pleased with the questions that Maharaj Parikshit asked, and he gets ready to answer all of his questions in full. So in this section, in today's section, from the verses 1, 2, and 3, Shukadeva Goswami, so basically in this chapter, 9th chapter onwards, Shukadeva Goswami starts answering all the questions that Maharaj Parikshit asked. And so the first question that Maharaj Parikshit asks in second canto, 8th chapter, 7th verse is Yadhatu Mato Brahma Deharampo Asya Dhatu Bihi Yadrichaya Hetunava Bhavanto Janata Yata. O learned Brahmana, the transcendental spirit soul is different from the material body. Does he acquire the body accidentally or by some cause? Will you kindly explain this, for it is known to you? So Maharaj Parikshit, in this verse, he basically wants to know the relationship between the material body and the soul. So the soul is actually pure. So Maharaj Parikshit wants to understand, although the soul is pure, how it actually takes birth in this material world. Okay, and what is that relationship between the material body and then the spirit soul? And although the soul is pure and spiritual, he also wants to know how it gets entangled in this material world and takes this material body in this material realm. And then, so these verses, basically this chapter, I was listening to Prabhupada's lecture, and he gave a lecture on this chapter in Japan in 1972. And then during that time, he actually stressed on the fact that how important this chapter is, and how important these verses are, because it explains the relationship between the body and the soul and the illusory of the material energy, and what is the result of that illusory energy, and how to get out of that illusory energy and attain the constitutional nature of the soul. So in Japan, when he actually gave the lecture, he stressed on the fact that his devotees need to memorize these 3 verses. And also what he used to do was every day he used to recite, like he wanted all his disciples to recite this verse one by one. And then the next day, the second day, he wanted everybody to recite the second verse one by one, and then the first verse together. On the third day, he wanted everybody to recite the third verses one by one, and the first and second verses together, all together. So at the end of the 1 month, everybody were actually knowing all the verses by heart. So it's a direct instruction from Prabhupada that all of his disciples need to memorize these 3 verses, and if possible, memorize the entire chapter as well, because it's very, very important. And if we understand these 3 verses correctly, then we know the way to actually get out of this material world. So we'll start with today's verse. Let's recite together. Shri Shuka Uvacha Atmamayamrite Rajan Parasyanubhavatmanaha Na Gatetartha Sambandha Swapna Drashtur Ivanchasa. Shri Shukadeva Goswami said, O king, unless one is influenced by the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there is no meaning to the relationship of the pure soul in pure consciousness with the material body. That relationship is just like a dreamer seeing his own body working. So today I thought that we will recite, we'll briefly discuss the themes of all the 3 verses, and then we'll jump into discussing each of the verses in more detail. So the main theme that is explained in this verse is, what is that illusion which causes the living entity to identify with this body? So that is the main theme that is explained in this verse. So although the spirit soul is distinct, so spirit soul is distinct from the material conception of life, right? Although it is distinct, but still because of the illusory energy or the material conception, he becomes influenced by the external energy of the Lord, which Shukadeva Goswami mentions here as Atma Maya. So it's the illusory energy of the Lord which puts the individual living entity into this material world. So there is no real relationship between the soul and the body. It is just like an illusion. So an example that we can think of here is, sometimes when we are actually very, very tired, we dream like we are falling from a top of a building, or a tiger is being chased, or we are in some part of the country interacting with somebody. But when you actually come out of the dream, and if you still remember what you dreamt, then you will actually see that whatever happened in the dream, it's not real. So really we were fast asleep because of the tiredness. Maybe we were taken into some different place, or because of our past desires in the previous life that came into the dream, and then we were put in that position where we were experiencing being part of our older life, of our past life. So actually whatever happened in the dream is not real. Similarly, whatever is happening in this material world is not real. Like we on this material world, like I speaking here and then you all sitting here, is all just illusion. Like it's all happening in the dream. We can think of it like that because our original position is with the Lord. Because of our desires, we were put into this material world, and because of our desires and in relationship with the modes of material nature, we are going through so many things. And this is one of the lives that we have taken birth, and we are just acting here. We are just acting in a drama.
Just want to clarify that. And like Prabhupada many times said, it is all real, but it's temporary.
Mm.
This life in material world is real but temporary.
Okay.
Is it real or not real?
It is real, but it's temporary.
So when I was actually hearing Prabhupada's lecture, so he gave.
I'm just going to
lecture
make
in,
it. It's not worried. I think in the interest of what Radhakrishnan Prabhu is saying, we'll treat this as a Bhagavatam class exactly. So
Okay.
any comments or anything, let's just bring it only at the time of question answer. It's only you speaking to all of us.
Okay.
Because that's the Bhagavatam class.
So yeah, I will clarify that like during when we discuss in
Yeah.
detail. So Prabhupada actually clarifies that in his classes. So let's recite the next verse together. Bahurupa iva bhati maya bahurupaya ramamano vishwasya mamaham iti manyate. The illusion living entity appears in so many forms offered by the external energy of the Lord. While enjoying in the modes of material nature, the engaged living entity misconceives, thinking in terms of I and mine. So the theme of this verse is because of the soul's desire. So the desire is the concomitant factor of the soul. Like Prabhupada actually, so he mentions few things, one of which is there is no disciple with the discipline. So that is one point that Prabhupada mentions. And the other one is desire is the concomitant factor of the soul. So because of that desire, the Lord places the individual living entity in this material world and makes him identify with the body, thinking I and mine. So what is the I concept? So I am this body. So what is the mind concept? Everything around is mine. And the result is we go through innumerable material bodies. As mentioned in Bhagavad Gita 13:22, Purusha Prakritisto hi bhunkte prakriti jangunan karanam guna sangasya sad asad yoni janmasu. Due to the desires of I and mine, trying to enjoy the material energy, and because of the association of the modes of material nature, the guna sangha, karanam guna sangasya. So the the soul is forced to take different material bodies. So in the verse, the word used is Bahurupa Ivabhati. Right? So we go through the 8,400,000 species of life, and it all happens under the influence of the modes of passion, goodness, passion, and ignorance. And due to the desires, so due to these desires, so the desire is so strong that because of that, the external energy of the Lord supplies a body in which we can enjoy those desires and to the fullest extent. So as an example, if somebody wants to actually taste blood, like because of the salty taste, he's given the body of a tiger or a lion. And if somebody is very, very morose and he always wants to take rest and sleep, then he gets the body of a bear or a polar bear where it can sleep for 6 months and then works for 6 months. So it's like Kumbhakarna. And then the next important thing mentioned in the verse is Ramamano Guneshwasya. So because of the desire, it tries to enjoy all the obtained forms. So Bahurupa Guna Ivabhati, so he gets multiple forms, and because of the desire, Ramamano Guneshwasya. So he tries to enjoy all these obtained forms. So mood is just to enjoy. Actually, we are just enjoying in a dream. It's all happening as an illusion. We are not really enjoying, but it's all happening in the dream. And then what is the result of that? Mama and aham. So then we go into the conception of thinking that this is me and everything is mine. So we'll go to the next verse. Yarhivavamahimnisve parasmin kalamayayoh rametagatasammohas
Tvaktodaste tato vayam.
As soon as a living entity becomes situated in this constitutional glory and begins to enjoy the transcendence beyond time and material energy, he at once gives up the two misconceptions of life, I and mine, and thus becomes fully manifested as the pure self. So the theme of the verse is so basically this verse explains how one can get out of the illusion. So in order to get out of this illusion, one has to be situated in the constitutional position as the servant of the Lord, Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Gopi Bhartu Padakamalayur Dasa Dasa Anudasa. So when one is under that understanding, then he understands the proper concept of I and mine. And then the verse explains the process of getting freed from the Atma Maya that we discussed in the first verse. The first verse, the illusory energy. Because of the Atma Maya, we get into the misconception of I and mine. And then this verse explains how to basically get freed from that. So, few points, we turned our back towards Krishna and desiring to enjoy ourselves and wanting to be independent. And rather than enjoying, we are suffering by taking so many material bodies, as explained in the previous verse. Bahurupa Ivabhati. And then, so if one is situated in the rightful position, instead of acting as the body, one gradually acts as the soul in eternity. So then one comes to realize that we are not this body, and then so for that understanding to come, we have to be situated in the rightful position. Without that, the understanding is not going to come. Then if we are situated in that position, then we gradually realize, so gradually, that word is very important. We won't be able to realize it at once. We will be able to realize it only gradually, and then we will realize that we are soul in eternity. So we have to give up the desire to enjoy in this material world independent of Krishna, and become very, very eager to be his servant and not to enjoy. So the last 3 points, so the be situated in the rightful position, giving up the desire to enjoy in the material world, and becoming very eager to serve Krishna. What this does is it liberates or frees one from the material conception of life, and it places the soul in a constitutional position as a servant of Krishna. As we discussed in the previous slide, the soul comes to realize that he is Gopi Bhartu Padakamalayur Dasa Dasa Anudasa. And then leaves that, so whatever is happening in this material world, he understands that is all happening by association with the illusory energy, and it's all a dream. And when the soul is broken, when that illusion is broken, then the soul doesn't suffer anymore. So now we are all suffering, going through the process of birth, old age, disease, and death. But when that illusory energy, when that understanding that we are not the body, we are the spirit soul, that illusion is broken, then we no longer suffer, although we actually go through so many bodily pains and things like that. Because of that understanding, we won't suffer anymore. And then in one of the lectures, I heard that I don't remember where I heard it from, but so we have to take the concept of I and mine to I am Krishna's and Krishna is mine. So this is the proper concept. Instead of thinking that I am this body and everything around is mine. So the proper conception that one should have is I am Krishna's and Krishna is mine. So then we will actually, so once we have this understanding, then we'll see all the things in relation to the Lord. So then such a person is a real fortunate person. So one who can fix his mind on the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead. So now I'm going back to first verse and then discuss some important points. So in the first verse, some phrases that we read were Swapna Drashtur Ivambasa, which means Ivanjasa. So no real relationship between the soul and the body, and it is all illusory energy. And so I already explained that we might be dreaming something and it's just happening in the dream. So then one common question, I myself have actually asked this question, and so one very common question that many of us have is, so how does a living entity who was with Krishna all the time becomes fallen into this material world? So that question is answered very, very clearly in this verse. So Prabhupada in his lecture in Japan, he actually gives a very nice example. He gives the example of a moon. So during a clear night, we see sometimes most of us would have observed this when we are small, and even now in Seattle it's difficult, but in India we would have seen this. When there is clear sky during the night, it looks like the moon is actually moving, right?
Yeah.
We have seen that, but it's really not, the moon is not moving, it's the clouds which is surrounding the moon, it is that is what is moving. So Prabhupada compares that with the how we are actually put into this material world. So he says that we are not really fallen into this material world. So he stresses this multiple times. We are not fallen. It is just an illusion. So we are, because of our desires, we were put in this condition. But so why was that put? Due to the forgetfulness of who we really are, Krishna gave us that opportunity to forget him. And then he put us in this material world where we can enjoy the desires of being independent from him. So he gave that opportunity. So Krishna only is giving that forgetfulness also, as mentioned in Bhagavad Gita 15:15. Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto matta smritir jnanam apohanam cha vedeshya sarvairahameva vedyo vedanta vedavid chaham. So apohanam, because of the desire, Atma Maya, the illusory energy of trying to enjoy independent of Krishna, Krishna gave us that forgetfulness, apohanam, and then he gave us that opportunity to come to this material world and fulfill all our desires. And then so again, we wanted to play the part of Krishna. So we became envious. So yesterday in the Bhakti Gita class, some Mataji was asking, so if we became envious of Krishna and then we fell down into this material world, so Mataji was asking, so then is it that the envy, because whatever we are seeing in our individual soul is also the part of it is actually coming from Krishna. So Mataji's question was, is that enviousness coming from Krishna? Actually, it's not. So what I told her was, no, it's not the envy is actually coming from Krishna, but it because of our desire and because of our little bit free will that Krishna has given us. We need not think that it is envy, but we saw Krishna and then we got that thought in our mind that, oh, Krishna is actually getting all these things. Why I'm not actually able to get? So because of that thought, Krishna actually made sure that, okay, you have this free will. I want to actually make that. It's like your desire, just like a father fulfills the desire of the children. He's just trying to fulfill the desire of the individual soul, and then he gives us the opportunity in this material world, and then see if we can actually enjoy. So that is what is really happening. So in the purport, Prabhupada gives this very, very nice line. I just picked this directly from the purport. Therefore, the first sinful will. So this is the first sinful will that the living entity got. The first sinful will that we all got was we wanted to be Lord. So that is the first sinful will. And then the consequent will of the Lord was, as I explained before, okay, let the living entity forget his factual life in the spiritual world, and thus the dream of the land of utopia. So Krishna is creating this land of dream, utopia. And then where we all can be our own Lord within our own small worlds. Like I'm like a Lord within my house. I'm trying to control my wife, my children, but that is my only small realm where I can act as the Lord. So the Krishna is actually giving all of us that opportunity, and he just is creating a feeling. That's all, which is also a Leela created by Krishna. And then I'll quickly, because of we have another 15 minutes, so I quickly want to explain few things that Prabhupada mentions in the verse. Is if somebody wants to act as a king in a drama, only if you are fully into it, only then you will be able to act as a king. If you are half-hearted behaving as not a king and half-hearted behaving as a king, then you won't be able to impress the audience. So he gives his own personal example where in his childhood he was acting as in Chaitanya Leela. In Chaitanya Leela he was acting, and his director used to tell that you should feel when you are acting. And then so he could actually see that during the when they were enacting, people were literally crying. And then Prabhupada says that because of the intensity of the heart that we put into the drama, they were all experiencing as though they were in the drama. So relating that back to this verse, because of our desire, we are put in this situation, and Krishna is giving that forgetfulness so that we can be a king. So in the drama of this world, we can think that we are very, very happy. So we are completely enjoying. That's what Krishna is doing. So another thing Prabhupada mentions is, since we are not really fallen, we have an opportunity to revive our Krishna consciousness. So how can we do that? Realize that we are the servants of Krishna. So we get immediately liberated. So Bhagavad Gita verse 1866, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Raja Aham Tvam Sarva Papyebhyo Moksha Ishyami Masuchaha. So liberation can be obtained. So only when one abides by the rules of Krishna. So other than that, if we are not able to abide by the rule of Krishna, liberation is not possible. And sometimes the example is given is if the dream is very, very fearful, we break the dream immediately and then get up. So just like that, we can break this dream of being in the material world and then get out of it by reviving our original relationship with Krishna. So as soon as we get the desire to revive the relationship, he gives the intelligence to go back to him. So the verses, the important verses are for Bhagavad Gita 4:11 and 10:10. 4:11 is Ye tamam prapadyante tam sate upajamyaham mama vartmano vartante manushya partha sarvasaha. So in 10:10, tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam. So he will give that intelligence of how to go back to them. And then quickly, one conversation that Prabhupada had in his lecture, I found this very interesting. So Trivikrama, he is one of his disciples who is speaking. This feeling that we have, that we are fallen, that we are very fallen, Prabhupada is saying, that is all illusion. That is all illusion. You are fallen means you have got some certain desires except service of Krishna. Therefore, the conclusion is that if you keep yourself tightly in Krishna's service, there is no question of following down, or there is no question of Maya. You see? So practical application for us is we have to come out of the dream of this illusion. First thing that we have to do is realize that we are not the body, and then we have to be the spirit soul, and then tolerate and be sincere. So titikshva matra sparshastha kaunteya sitoshna sukha dukkadaha agama payo nitya tam titikshva manata. And then as I mentioned in the beginning, Tatenu Kampam, that's another verse. So if we tolerate and then be very, very sincere in our endeavor, and Krishna will actually give us that intelligence to how to go back to him. So we'll go to the next verse. So next verse, so we discussed most of the important points in the beginning itself. So I had one more point to add here of that of Prahlad Maharaj. He speaks about I and mine. So attachment, as we all know, attachment is the one which binds us to this material nature and makes us think that we are this body and everything around is mine. So in that regard, Prahlad Maharaj says, when one is in the bodily conception of life, the concept of I is misplaced, right? So we are thinking that we are the body. So because of that, it means that the mind conception will also be automatically misplaced. So we will think everything around us is ours. So next line is very, very important. For such a person, for such a person in that misconception, they cannot be helped by any endeavor they make, nor can be helped by any other person, nor the combination of two. So it is a person. So the important point for us to note here is, coming out of the misconception of I is our endeavor. We have to actually make the endeavor to make sure that we are putting our effort to make sure that we are not the body, and we are not the body basically. Then whatever others are actually saying, that will help. But if we are actually not able to understand that we are not the body, if we still have that attachment that okay, outside I will actually show off when I go to the temple, I'm a devotee, I'll wear tilak, I will actually wear dhoti. But if I still have that attachment inside the heart, whatever you do, that's not going to go away. So that is very, very profound statement that all of us have to learn. Especially I have to learn that, because sometimes I get that actually in my heart. So the practical application of how to do that is cut off the attachment to the material body. Doesn't mean that we have to ignore this body, but take care of it only when it is needed and only for the doing the devotional service, just for doing our duties. And then we have to learn to withdraw our senses from the sense objects. And how to do that is develop the attitude of detachment and restrict our desires. So we hear this term very, very often, the need versus want. So we have to know what we really need and what we really want. And desire that is favorable and helps us spiritually. So what is that verse in Nectar of Devotion? Anyabhilashi dashunyam dhyana karma dhyanavritam anukulena krishnanushrena bhaktiruttama. So anukulena, favorably, whatever is favorable for Krishna service in devotional service, one has to anchor for that. Then one will be able to help himself spiritually. Let's go to the third verse. So some points. So in the third verse is explaining how to get out of that illusory energy. So in the verse, Prabhupada explains how this misconception manifests in different living entities. So in the lower state of misconception, the mind is very prominent. So it's the example that we can see is karmis. And we can also see the example of, like in the case of animals, we see cats, dogs. Like if another dog which doesn't belong to the community enters into that community, then the dogs actually bark, bite and chase him out. So that is very, very prominent in the lower state of misconception. So mine is very, very prominent. So this is mine, this area is mine, and everything this is belongs to me and things like that. But in the higher state of conception, I is very, very prominent. So the example is the Jnanis. And the example that we can think of is the Mayavadis. So they think that I am everything, and once they actually know about Brahman, they think that okay, I am everything, I am the controller, I am the proprietor, I am the enjoyer. So the practical application of how to come out of the illusory energy and then develop the understanding that we are not this body, we are the spirit soul is, and then come to the realization of our constitutional position is by chanting and hearing process, remembering the Lord all the time, and then taking the shelter of the sound representation of the Lord, because it is non-different from the Lord himself. Okay, so we'll quickly go through the
Really?
summary.
So,
So summary of the first verse is
better you do it before you leave.
everything that we see around is based on the desire which puts us in this illusion. And due to the illusion caused by the desires, we take in this birth in this material world. I want to be God, which is the first desire that puts us in this material world. I want to be the controller, I want to be the enjoyer, and I want to be the proprietor, and I am the supreme being. And we discussed in the first verse that we turned our back towards Krishna, and Krishna gave us an opportunity to act as a king in this dream, in this illusory world. So the summary of the second verse is, in this material bodies, we are very, very enthusiastically trying to fulfill all the desires which were forced upon us depending on the material body that we desired. And in the human body, we are given an opportunity to desire something different, right? So that is up to us whether we are able to focus the desire towards Krishna or on the material things. And then in the summary of the third verse is, when living entities give up the misconception of I and mine, he realizes his original position. And how can it be achieved? It can be achieved by bhakti. It can be only by bhakti to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So there is one very, very profound statement made by Kapila Dev to Mother Devahuti in third canto. He says, Animitta Bhagavati Bhakti Siddher Gariyasi Jarayate Ashuyakosham Nigirnam Analoyata. The mind's natural duty is to serve. When that service spirit is engaged in devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead without any motive, that is far better than even salvation. Bhakti, devotional service, dissolves the subtle body of living entity without separate effort, just as the fire in the stomach digests all that we eat. So the very, very important line here is, bhakti is the only means by which the material mind can be dissolved. So it is possible by any other process, it is possible to divert the mind from one thing to another. But it's only by bhakti that we can completely dissolve the material mind. So the material mind is a storehouse of all the desires, right? So it is the one which is actually making us think, feel, will, and then accepting, sankalpa, and then vikalpa, rejecting. So material mind, so as we all know, material mind was awarded to the jivas as one of the subtle elements so that we can enjoy our desires in this material world. But if we are finished with this material mind, if the material mind gets dissolved by the process of bhakti, then everything just stops. No more struggling, no more battling. We'll all be at the transcendental platform. It just stops actually. So there is no more material mind. So the material mind gets replaced by spiritual mind. And in that spiritual mind, there's only thoughts of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And that is the natural position of the soul. So he is feeling very, very happy. And because of so we have been given this chanting and hearing process we have been given this opportunity to change one's desires by the chanting and hearing process. So we can, because of doing that, if we do that very, very sincerely, can move towards from the modes of passion and ignorance towards the mode of goodness. And then finally we can be situated in the mode of spiritual position. And finally the eternal position as an individual soul is, spiritual with the Lord is as a part and parcel, and the constitutional position of servant of the Lord is restored. So I had few more points to say, but I think we are out of time.
4 minutes.
Yeah, I wanted to. So the key takeaway point. I covered all this. So the key takeaway point for us to take from today's session is, so the living entity, so this is a summary of all the three. So the living entity, due to the desires, he is put through into a dreaming state because of the Atma Maya. the illusory energy of the Lord, where it is given an opportunity to play the role of a king in the drama, right? And according to the desires controlled by the modes of passion, ignorance, and goodness. And we get, because of that, we get different bodies going through 8,400,000 species of life. But when it realizes that its original position, that the soul is not here to enjoy individually, but it's part and parcel of the Lord, and its original position is to serve the Lord, then the dream ends immediately, and then we all can go back to Godhead. Even so, even when we are in the material world, but if we are on the conception that we are not this body, whatever we see here is just a dream, so we will just tolerate whatever pain and pleasures that we are going through. So tolerate the pleasures also, right? We should not get puffed up that, okay, we are seeing there are so many pleasures. Similar to tolerating the pain, we have to tolerate the pleasures also. Tolerate as in not get too much puffed up or enthusiasm. See that it's all the Leela of the Lord. Then even being in this world, he can be beyond this world.
Very good.
Prabhu, I have two questions. and two comments.
Yes, Mataji.
It's been very nice class, Prabhu. I understood the class. Thank you very much. The question I have is that when you said about the I and mine
Mm-hmm.
has to go from I am Krishna's servant and Krishna is mine.
Mm-hmm.
What I have heard in the Ramapal Maharaj's class, and I clearly remember it because I clearly remember it, is because I was struggling with something, and when I heard that thing, it helped me a lot. And Maharaj said, I am Krishna's servant, but the relationship with Krishna is mine.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh,
I think
Krishna,
that is
yeah, Krishna himself is not mine, but
the
the relationship.
relationship with Krishna is mine. That's what I heard. Because I mean, at that time I was in a certain situation, so for me hearing that was very important. So when I heard that, it stayed with me. So the relationship with Krishna is mine. I cannot say Krishna is mine.
Yes, Mataji, yeah.
Is that what you meant?
Yes, yes, that's
Okay.
what actually I meant. Yeah, I think I mentioned Krishna is mine. Yeah,
Yeah.
not really. Krishna cannot definitely
Like a
be mine.
devotee does not claim like that.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
can only say, okay, the only thing I have that is really mine and that nobody can take away from me
Yeah,
is this relationship with Krishna.
but actually, yeah, that's true. We as in like minute devotees, we cannot claim that Krishna is mine. But this is what my maybe it's wrong, but a Mahabhagavata, he can. I don't know whether. I think he can think that Krishna is mine. Like I have heard somewhere that we have the book Bhagavata and then the person Bhagavata, and then there is something also called as Bhagavatottama. So a book Bhagavata, a person Bhagavata is one who is always thinking about the Lord, right? But who is always thinking about the Lord, who is also always thinking about the pastimes, his activities, and so on. But there is this term also called as Bhagavatottaman. So in Tamil, I have heard this. Bhagavatottaman means, so the Lord is actually thinking always about you. So it's not the other way around. So for such a person who is being thought about by the Lord, I'm not sure if it is wrong to say that he can claim that Krishna is.
I heard in lecture Radharani says Krishna is mine
Mhm.
and Chandravali says I am yours. So Radharani's position is more superior because I am yours, Krishna might say yes sometimes, sometimes not. But Radharani claims you are mine, Krishna is mine. So that's
Yeah, but we are
Maybe
practicing devotees, so
yeah, definitely we cannot claim that. But Radharani and then Bhagavatottamas, maybe I'm not sure.
no, because even in the Damodar Leela pastime,
Mhm.
with Mother Yashoda and Krishna, if you and if Radha Krishna Prabhu sends the email with the
Yeah,
directions,
yeah,
that will be
yeah.
very nice. But what I understood in that, and what I read also is that nobody can
claim.
capture and claim the Lord that so like that's what I read, like the yogis are trying to capture in their heart but they cannot. So yes, you can capture by your
But
devotional
then-
service, but still you cannot stake a claim. You know, ultimately the Lord is a transcendental autocrat,
Right.
and he decides when he
But
wants to.
yes, so in the case of Mother Yashoda's pastime, she was trying to tie him and then she was not able to tie him, right? He was actually running all around and then always it was two
So, but the
fingers
only
too
thing
short.
that in her hand was her endeavor, and that is our relationship with Krishna, which is of service. to
Yes,
him.
so finally she gave up saying, okay, I'm now tired. I cannot actually chase you anymore. And then Krishna actually comes and tells, okay, now you can bind me.
Yeah,
So
but
it is
in
the
that I
decision of
read,
Lord.
It's the decision of the
Yeah.
Lord.
in that I read that it is not that by doing bhakti you will get the Lord.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Our job is
That's true.
only to do the bhakti.
It's
Whether
only
the Lord
Lord's will.
comes or not.
Yeah, it
that
is his own will.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
that anyway, that's why I think we can't say like that Krishna's mind, but I'll wait for.
Radha Krishna Prabhu.
So I was trying to add one more point. Like we can say Krishna is mind, but in the context of saying Krishna is the only mind protector, is the only shelter where I can go.
He definitely
Cannot
protects.
go.
Yeah.
He is the ultimate shelter.
Shelter.
Krishna is my only the shelter.
He is the
Krishna
only
Yeah,
real
nice
protector.
He is the only my protector. Krishna is my protector only.
Yeah, that's a nice point.
So in that context, we can say Krishna is the mind only the protector and shelter.
Yeah.
In that, and I think many like basically Mahajana will follow the path of Acharya.
Mhm.
I think following that mood of servant in that context we can say. Yes,
Yeah.
of course there are different
Yeah, definitely. We
levels
cannot claim
are
that
there.
Krishna is going to be mine. So, as Mataji put it, like only in relationship, right? But
Like the serve, I can do
the service,
you know, my relationship is of service.
Service
I
to
can
the
engage
Lord.
in service.
yeah,
Basically, exactly what Prabhupada Maharaj said, I know, was that the only thing I ever own
is a service to the
My
Lord.
relationship
is
is a
my,
relationship.
that's the only thing I own. is my
Relationship with the Lord.
That, like nothing material can
That's
take
the
that
only
away.
thing I own, and that nobody can take away.
Mamai Vamsa.
Nobody
That
can take that
relationship
away
we
from
can
me.
claim as mine.
Yes.
That is the
Yeah.
only thing that we
Yes,
can
And
that's
everyone
and
has
nobody
a
can
unique relationship.
relationship.
as a unit, and nobody can ever take that away from me. Also,
Mm.
I mean, I own that, and I will always. So even in the most destitute condition, or whatever condition we might ever be eternally, or we have ever been,
Hmm.
the only thing I ever own is my relationship.
I
with
don't.
the Lord.
Does he say I own or does he say this is mine? I think there's a
I-
difference in the tone and when
Yeah.
you say I own this relationship or that sounds a little material. but it's
One
not.
of
So
the
this
Vatsala
verse
and
clarifies, right? Mamai Vamsa Jivalaka Jivapat. Everyone is part and parcel,
Oh.
and when he is connected to the body, I mean, it's like when they are situated in their constitutional position. So that relation is owned by Lord, right? In one sense, like finger is mine, my like it belongs to the whole
Yeah,
body,
yeah.
and it is
That is
situated.
ever
in-
mine,
And
maybe.
that also the Lord has given us the privilege of having the relationship with him. So again we cannot say I own this thing.
Yeah, it is again Lord's.
Yeah.
But one of the past time when
Yeah.
disciple of Prabhupada asked him, Prabhupada, if I do this, if I do that, and if I chant those things, then I will go back to God. Prabhupada says, no, you can try your best to go, but it's only
But it's
by
Krishna's will.
desire and
Yeah,
mercy,
yeah.
Krishna wants he will take you.
Yeah.
So in that case of part and parcel, you do your endeavor, you take everything, but it's the Krishna by his mercy and desire, he will take you.
Yeah.
Then that's the relationship. So Krishna can remind you your relationship and can make you forget fullness of that relationship.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Because
If
of
you
our,
want to.
Yeah.
If-
Even
if
you
we
are
want to.
Jiva,
yes,
part and parcel, but still Krishna's mercy, whether he wants to remind you or if you forget.
yes,
But you have to do your endeavor,
yes.
being
Yeah.
a child kid.
So
So,
Raga
what-
Raga Bhakti, those devotees think Lord is theirs. Right? They,
That's what I don't want to let
Yeah, let Radhakrishna
Yeah.
plan. So the other point you were mentioning, so the living in this world is like a dream.
Mm-hmm.
How do you understand about our devotion service, our connection with spiritual master? Like every day we will
It's like
chanting. So, so what I heard was Prabhupada was mentioning that like it is temporary. It's not illusion.
So I can actually try to explain. So please correct me if I'm wrong. So see, because of our desire of being independent of Krishna, we were put in this situation. But then we all have a desire to establish that relationship back to Krishna, right? So although this is a dream, Krishna can actually send someone in the dream as well to actually help us, right? So in a dream, we might be seeing something that's happening which is good also, right? When we are in a dream, and then we might be enjoying it in the dream. Similarly, we can think that, as I mentioned in the beginning, in this dream of this material world, since we got the desire to actually be a servant of Krishna, Krishna gave that opportunity to, like giving spiritual master, giving us all the knowledge, and then he gave that opportunity in the dream so that we can realize our eternal relationship with him, and then finally get out of this dream of this material world.
I think that
So
the dream concept is the identification with the
Separate
material.
from
material.
Krishna.
But when we are engaging in devotional service, serving,
It is real.
when we are in that, then we are awake at that time. The remaining time we are covered. So that
Hmm.
is when we'll gradually come out of mode of ignorance. So in the particular day, we will still be covered. But maybe whenever we are engaging in devotional service, that is the
Then we
time
come
when
out
we are
of the dream
awake.
and
So dream in the sense is
Seeing
is
the
that
connectivity
exactly-
with Krishna, then
Yeah,
it is not
not
illusion.
dream. Yeah, that's
So,
not
Not
illusion.
dream.
Because my understanding is that if you read the translation also, it says that relationship
Yeah.
is just like a dreamer seeing his own body working. So obviously Prabhupada has clarified, this is our fundamental philosophy, Brahma Satya Jagat Mithya is
Mithya.
not true.
uh-huh.
The world is true,
Yeah.
Yes, okay.
but it is temporary.
No, how we are relating with the world is we are seeing it for an enjoyment. We are not seeing it
Yeah.
as Krishna's.
That's
Yeah, so
sense
so
is
in the
Yeah.
sense of in the sense of what is an illusion, what is a dream, is that illusion
Is
that I
that-
have is that I truly have a relationship with the material body, which
Mhm.
means that I can actually get true enjoyment from this material
Material
world and material body. That's an illusion.
Okay, okay.
So that illusion that I truly am related and I can get enjoyment by
Out of
exploiting the
the
material
material
world
Uh-huh.
or
That is a
people in
dream.
this material world
That is
is an
illusion.
illusion.
But then when we
But what is really-
establish
sorry?
but when we establish when we realize our original position with the
a
Lord
servant of Krishna.
as servant of Krishna,
It's not.
then
illusion.
it's not illusion.
Even
That's
though
real
within this
No,
world.
so what is always true is my relationship
with the
Krishna.
Lord.
with the Lord.
Yes.
And devotional service is in the context of that relationship. So that is the only thing which is true.
So
What
it
is
not
false is the illusion that I get enjoyment from this. So there's a concept, there's a difference between what is real, true enjoyment and what is the illusory
Illusory
enjoyment. The true enjoyment or the true position of ours is my relationship
With
with,
It's
the
not
with
Lord.
true
Krishna.
enjoyment. That's not it's not true enjoy. You cannot say enjoyment.
Well, it is, yeah, but
It's true understanding.
Yeah.
True understanding.
true and
Because the soul and the soul's
Position.
happiness is in serving.
yeah, so
in
true
being
happiness. No,
enjoyed.
I specifically heard that in a lecture, what I'm saying. So don't be picky on that. So enjoyment or bliss, whatever that is. So that true bliss is coming through that because we are actually looking for bliss.
Yes.
Now we are looking for bliss in an illusory.
Illusory environment.
That is the illusion.
Yeah.
But the true bliss is
When
is-
relationship with the Lord.
is the relationship
So today I was hearing
with
Prabhupada
Krishna. Right?
lecture.
So that is the only. So that is it's a false concept
So-
to try to refer it that way.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, similar point I was hearing. Like finger, when it is cut
Mhm.
from body, it cannot enjoy by itself, right?
Correct.
When it is connected in its constitutional position, then it is
So we are connected.
properly
They
situated.
are connected.
So when that situation is there, even within this material world, it is actually not dream. I mean, it is not illusion.
Okay, okay.
One of the
Yes.
Harivastu said like, what is the illusion? The illusion means which is not that.
Mm-hmm.
So if your desire is to enjoy this world, so you're thinking that is true, that is your illusion.
Mm-hmm.
Illusion is which is not that. Like just like a mirage on
Which is
a
not real.
desert,
Desert.
right? So I was to give this example. That means the world is there, is the energy of the Lord. How you see it, just like a mirage on the desert. So if you take as a pleasure of enjoyment, then it's your illusion. But the same energy, like best use of your bad margin. That means you are in the metal world, you got the metal body, then you
Just
use this
make use of
energy
it
to
to-
use in Krishna service.
No, that is in the second and the first few chapters. That is there, right? Like how to see everything in relationship with Krishna. When we start changing our vision, and gradually all the dirty things from the heart goes away.
So, and that's
Actually, in
what,
real sense, there is nothing material. Because
Yeah.
everything comes
Yeah.
from Krishna.
It's
Yeah.
our
Even
conception.
like, yeah, it's our, just our
So
conception.
to
illusion
that
is the way we
conception
see
is the dream. That conception, that material conception of the illusion is the
Yeah,
dream.
that's-
It's not like this. still here.
Yeah, that
Like for
illusory
example,
concept.
spiritual master's body is considered spiritual, because
Spiritual.
we don't burn it. So it's because it's actually spiritual. Even food that we offer is spiritual.
Yes.
So there's when it is in connection with Krishna, it is spiritual.
Prabhu, I have one more question.
Yes, Mataji.
We are.
That's a comment actually. In the second, in the details when you gave of the second, like you gave a detailed explanation of the verse, you spoke about detachment and desire, something like that you spoke.
Here, Mataji.
No, in the details when you were giving the
Second
second
section.
time.
Second time. Okay.
So you spoke about like these desires we have to control and we don't want to engage in the sensual desire and all. So I just wanted to like we have to become detached because like I'm working on a presentation that is just more clear and we just covered that in the ladies class also. We finished second chapter. So I think that development in that particular verse, you covered that theme, but in that particular verse you have to say that the development of that higher taste, you know,
Yes, that is.
that detachment just like that, then the mind will be
Automatically
disturbed.
Yeah.
You know, because then one of the living senses can take you anywhere. So we have to keep always being in that higher
Higher
reward,
taste.
higher taste, higher conception.
We don't try for detachment. That is how Mayavadis try. But we actually try to connect ourselves to Krishna.
No, I
With
mean,
that attachment, automatically detachment
yeah.
comes.
No, but we also work we do that internal work
Yeah.
of self-control and everything, but that without higher taste is going to be
Difficult.
I think you covered that in the future about like
Yeah,
if you do
but
devotional service,
then the
not being-
material mind is actually dissolved.
Yeah.
So.
Material
And I didn't
desires.
understand this thing, Prabhu. In this first verse,
Uh-huh.
I didn't understand, O King, unless one is influenced by the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What is why that thing has been put
Yes.
there, Prabhu?
Yeah, yesterday I read it few times
Which
actually.
one?
I got confused as well. The first verse.
I mean, I understood that there is no
Unless one is influenced by the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That phrase, right, Mataji?
Yeah.
So,
because Sanskrit is also saying that. Yeah.
Atma Mayam Vrite Rajan. Parasyanubhavatmanaha. So I think, so this is what I understood when I was reading yesterday. Unless one is influenced by the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that is the illusory energy, the Atma Maya.
Okay, the illusory energy. So
Yes.
unless you are put in that,
In
then
that,
you cannot enjoy.
You cannot enjoy any of this material stuff.
Okay.
That is happening because of our desire.
Because of our desire.
That's what I mean. Unless you're influenced by Maya.
Maya.
You
And
can't-
there is no real
This
meaning.
is the strength of Maya, that it can make you feel that you are going to true
Okay.
Yeah,
So that is
enjoyment.
Maya. Okay. I
So
was
see,
confused
actually
about
it's
that.
clear, right? So
This is the
unless you are
strength of
put in
Maya,
Maya,
because actually it's completely illogical.
Yeah.
Now, what is
there
the
is no meaning to the relationship of the pure soul in pure consciousness. So
Yes.
the soul is pure. Soul is also pure in consciousness also. So how can it get entangled? So
Okay,
it gets
Maya.
entangled only because of Maya.
So that energy is the
Maya
Maya.
is the
Maya.
illusory.
What
Thank
is
you,
the
Prabhu.
meaning in the book, word by word, for Sanskrit for that?
Atma Mayam.
Atma Maya.
It says just energy, or it just say also
Illusory energy, I
external
think.
energy?
Atma Maya is
Illusory
illusory
No,
energy.
it is telling the Supreme Personality of God, Maya energy.
Maya is specific.
Maya energy.
Maya.
Maya.
Atma
Oh, it's
Maya.
Maya. Okay, so it's
Maya.
Maya.
Yeah.
Maya.
Maya. Atma Maya.
If it's a specific, we can consider this. Otherwise, energy can be internal also and external also.
Yeah, but in this,
But
now I
this is-
understand.
This is definitely
Context
external
is
energy.
external energy.
Yeah.
Okay, it's Maya. Okay.
Maya.
I'm sorry, Prabhu. actually.
No.
No,
No,
Prabhupada
I got
clearly,
confused as well yesterday.
okay,
I read
Prabhupada,
this 4 or 5 times.
no, in the
Only then-
Prabhupada, in the purport, Prabhupada clearly says the spirit soul is distinct from the material conception of his life, but he is absorbed in such a material conception because of being influenced by the external
External
energy of
energy.
the Lord called Atma Maya.
Atma Maya.
Thank you.
External energy.
My questions are answered.
Wonderful, Prabhu.
If before anybody leaves, as I have told many times,
Before-
you have to fill up the survey, and if you notice what Radhakrishna Prabhu had said, just be more realistic. Don't be too humble that you are giving.
He said if you give up to 85, then you
85 is
Yeah, he said 85 is generally considered good. You're giving